This is a real story that can leave you shattered. This spine-chilling story is about a 17-year-old Japanese girl, Junko Furuta, who was kidnapped, raped, tortured like hell for 44 days, and finally killed in an extremely brutal way by 4 boys after 44 days in the year 1988. Her body was discovered in a concrete drum, following which her murder case was called the concrete-encased high school girl murder case. We might have heard of many murders, but this particular murder story of Junko Furuta has gone to the next unimaginable level of cruelty. One can never imagine the pain Junko had to go through in her last 44 days of life. Above all, the fact that 4 high school boys were doing all these inhumane acts was even more shocking and disturbing. Hiroshi Miyano, Nobuharu Minato, Kamisaku Joe, and Yasushi Watanabe are the 4 boys involved in this horrifying crime. Junko Furuta was a 17-year-old girl studying at Saitama Yashiominami High School in Japan. Just like any other normal student, Junko had her own aspirations and dreams which she wanted to fulfill. Not just that, she even had other good qualities for which she was liked by all her classmates too. She neither had the habit of smoking nor drinking or drugs. She was very beautiful. There was a boy, Hiroshi Miyano, who liked her. He went to Junko with her proposal, but Junko denied this proposal up front. Hiroshi could not take this rejection from her, which made him furious, and he decided to take revenge on her. On November 25, 1988, as Junko was returning home from her part-time job on her bike, a random boy passed by her and made her fall. Miyano went to her as though helping her. But then in no time, and before Junko realized what was happening, Miyano along with his 3 friends kidnapped Junko. They took Junko to a house in Adachi, Tokyo, which was owned by one of the kidnappers' parents. The boys made Junko call her parents and say that she ran away, she was safe, and that would be staying with some of her friends for a while. Then started the real torture of the innocent girl by the boys. No one can even imagine the pain they gave to Junko, not even in the worst nightmare. The heartless boys tortured Junko for 44 days. They kept her naked all the time during these 44 days. She was raped by 100 different people more than 500 times. The boys tried all terrifying ways of torturing Junko. They beat her like anything. Scissors, bottles, a hot exploding light bulb, grilled chicken skewers, roasting needles, and irons were inserted into her genitals. They burnt different parts of her body as well. They did not think twice before cutting off her breasts. The girl was even forced to eat cockroaches and drink urine. The boys crossed all limits in trying to torture and assault Junko. They urinated on her. They even hung her from the ceiling and made her their punching bag. She was made to sleep in the balcony in cold winter. Her stomach was crushed by the dumbbells. Her pain had no end. They beat her with golf clubs and iron rods, and even stored her in the refrigerator for hours. They made a number of holes in her body with needles. The cruel boys even burned her genitals, clitoris, and eyelids with a cigarette lighter. One of her nipples was twisted with pliers. Having so many injuries all over her body, Junko could not even stand due to pain. She had to crawl downstairs to use the bathroom. After around 20 days of her abduction and torture, Junko somehow managed to call an emergency number to call the police. However, she was caught by the boys, who disconnected the call by snatching away the phone from her before Junko could even speak. Following this, she was punished severely by burning her legs. They poured lighter fuel on her legs and burnt them with fire. After that, she could not even walk. She could not breathe because of a blood clot in her nose. She had internal bleeding, and as such she could not even digest the food, which led her to vomit. But the inhuman boys even beat her for making the carpet dirty by vomiting. Junko even stopped urinating after around 30 days. Her eardrums also got damaged. Not able to handle this pain anymore, Junko finally begged to kill her and close it all. Finally, the torturers mutilated her on the 44th day of her abduction. The boys did not spare even the mutilated body and beat with an iron barbell. Later they poured lighter fluid on her face, stomach, legs, and face and burnt with fire. This final torture went on for around 2 hours. And later that day, i.e., on January 4, 1989, Junko finally died. The saddest part of this Junko Furuta story is that the brutal murderers were neither given the death sentence nor even life imprisonment, as they were all under 18. Mayano was given a 20-year sentence while the other 3 boys were only 7. All the 4 boys might have been released from jail by now. It has been more than 3 decades since this unfortunate incident happened, which resulted in Junko Furuta's death. People still remember the innocent girl and keep her in their prayers. It is really sad to know that very little justice has been done to Junko Furuta's brutal murder. The innocent girl has to go through intolerable pain for having done nothing, literally nothing. Share your thoughts on this disturbing story, which was, unfortunately, a real incident. Thank you.